The hardest thing I think I actually had to do on that film was go to this guy's house and give him a letter that Stanley had written saying, I'm really sorry to tell you, but...
After a painful deliberation, I decided to use Lee Ermey to play Sergeant Hartman, but I'd like you to stay on and play the helicopter door gunner, which is a very powerful role in a very powerful scene. Sincerely, Stanley Kubrick. Well, it crushed me. And I didn't want to be around people, so I could see that everything became like a blur to me. TV was kind of blurry, and I was angry because I had that role for 8 months that he couldn't come to me as a man and talk to me about it. He sent Leon with a letter.
The caliber of actors who probably sell their mothers just to have the chance of working with Stanley, and you think you've got it, and then suddenly it's gone. It was not an easy thing to sit through. My heart bled for him, it really did.
As Stanley's assistant, Leon is prepared to go for and answer everything that might come up. It's a huge undertaking. Leon's face is a testament to that undertaking, a roadmap of sleeplessness and concern. I love Leon, but he makes me sad. I want to help him, but I don't know how. He's chosen his path. I was suspicious of Leon when he would come to me and say that he wanted to work on my lines, because I knew that he was that guy that was back there in the shadows who was speaking to Stanley. And I thought maybe, and I think the other actors that were working on the film thought that Leon might have been some kind of spy that was going to see if somebody was smoking pot or somebody was doing drugs. And so everybody was kind of a little bit suspicious of Leon, when in fact, all Leon wanted to do was make sure that people were truly, deeply prepared.
Everybody was on edge. I realized was that for each day that went past, I could see and feel Stanley getting more and more sort of tense and nervous. We had an art director who had a nervous breakdown simply because the work had to be done. I mean, Beckton had to be demolished and then kind of built again.
Stanley assigned Leon to me. I was Leon's project.
You think you're Mickey Spillane?
That's right. You think you're Mickey Spillane.
With all the hours and hours and hours of these auditions and these tapes, we had them transcribed, and we actually stitched together Lee's role from about 800 pages.
That fucking got off. You put it in.
I know how hard he worked with Lee Ermey, because Lee's dressing room was next door to my dressing room, and I heard them playing catch with the ball.
One day I pissed off Leon. There was a bowl of fruit. He reached over, he picked up an orange, and he threw it at me. I caught it, and I threw it back. And as we were tossing that orange back and forth, I started doing dialogue.
It didn't matter to him how often we went through stuff, how much we went through stuff. I'd have him lying on his back on the floor with his eyes closed, just say the dialogue, and then speed it up and speed it up and speed it up, so he was just saying it fast, 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 fast.
Sir, no, sir! Are you a Peter Puffer? Sir, no, sir! I'll bet you're the kind of guy that would fuck a person in the ass and not even have the goddamn common courtesy to give him a reach around.
Leon Vitali, he would drop me off in the evening, and then he would pick me up in the morning. When I was there, he was there. And I spent anywhere 14, 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. It was amazing. He never slept. Stanley drove him. If it wasn't for Leon Vitali, I doubt I would have done half the job that I ended up doing in Full Metal Jacket.
Now you listen to me, Private Pyle, and you listen good. I want that weapon, and I want it now. You will place that rifle on the deck at your feet and step back away from it. What is your major malfunction, numbnuts? Didn't Mommy and Daddy show you enough attention?
And that is the one that opened all the doors. So I haven't stopped working ever since. It's been a great life.
They're done with the movie. The movie's finished, shot, done, and they decide to put the door gunner roll back in.
And he actually stayed at my house.
Action.
And then as we went through it, what you noticed was that little by little he was beginning to find nuances.
Any women and children? Sometimes.
It really was a wonderful kind of process of watching somebody get an understanding about something And then when we actually went to the place to shoot it, we went up in a helicopter and I took a video camera with me and we rehearsed it because Stanley, of course, he wasn't going to fly. And then Stanley arrived about noon and we've been doing this for about 2 or 3 hours.
And then he set up the thing in the outhouse. He went, this angle's still off. Good, Tim. Go up and do it 13 more times just like that.
Get some, come on. Get it, come on. Get some, yeah. I got you, brother.
And it just became a little bit calmer, but more terrifying for it.
Anyone who runs is a VC. Anyone who stands still is a well-disciplined VC.
Ho Chi Minh is son of a bitch!
Stanley came into me and he said, "You're going to do the foots and Foley." "What do you mean?" He says, "That's why you do all the footsteps and you do all the sound effects and you do this and do all that." And I said, "I don't know if I can do that." And he said, "Sure you can." And that's how he always started me off on a new task. If I ever said, "I don't know how to do layouts," "Sure you do."
Okay.
I am the Foley man. Eddie Ties, who was our sound recordist, and I, just the two of us, we did all the footsteps and clothes rustle and gear rattle and everything. Every bit of sound, including the hooker.
Something you call love, but
You, after Full Metal Jacket, do what Leon did and actually switch gear. Knowing what you know about Stanley?
No, I think I could not have, after Full Metal Jacket, said, you know what, I'm going to go to work for Stanley. I'm too selfish. What Leon did was a selfless act, a kind of crucifixion of himself.
I couldn't imagine doing it myself. I guess I'm too selfish. Leon was compelled to dedicate his entire life, 30 years he spent with Stanley Kubrick.
Leon did for Stanley what half a dozen executive producers and associate producers and production managers and drivers and tailors do on other movies for directors.